I'm gonna show you a couple of more of these videos of Asian hate. I'm gonna use my YouTube and my PlayStation to show you guys some of this shit. And I've been going through some of these videos, and the ones I wanted to show you I've kind of lost. So I found one that I wanted to show y'all about the blue-haired Asian woman being verbally insulted or assaulted by this white fella. And I'm gonna go through a couple of these, and then we're gonna talk about them. Because this is ridiculous that anyone should have to go through this.
Do you seem harassing me right now? I'm sorry. Okay.
No one's gonna pay attention to you. Because you're dumb and you're a stupid blue Asian haired girl. Dumb. You. You.
And he deserved to get fired, I'm sure. Sorry about the ad.
Oh, I was literally just standing with
you. You know, hey, I can record you dumb bitch.
Oh, mother dick. Now, one, no, this is like totally messed up. And I think that, there are some things that we need to get under control here. Trying to get her information there. Yeah, I probably should have been wearing my glasses. Yeah, well, that's going to be a hunt and a half for me. I don't have time for all that shit. I'll find her later. We can't just sit here and allow things like this to happen. Yeah. Like, at all. And this guy lost his job. Alright. Well, here's the thing on that. I'm not at all surprised. And we did get an update on Yao Ma, or Pan Yao Ma, why I can't find them at all on this damn thing. This is why I hate technology. If I didn't need to find it, it'd be right here in my face. But because I need to find it, now I have to go through all of this stuff to go find it. It sickens me. Look at all these articles, man. All of them. Now, this one here.
We begin with
This
new
pisses
video
me
of
off.
yet another attack on an Asian woman here in the Bay Area. KPIX5's Wilson Walker shows us what the governor is doing to help.
All we know about the victim is that she is an Asian woman, 76 years old, and she was robbed here yesterday afternoon
this.
around 3:30. Now, in the video, you can see her being run down by her attacker and then waving her arms for help after she was robbed. Now, video of the incident comes just as Governor Newsom visited San Francisco to talk about
Ooh,
the
God
wave
damn
of
it.
incidents.
You've got to prosecute those that are perpetrating these acts of violence, period, full stop. We have to be there for the victims and be supportive of the victims as much as more than we have been, candidly. And we've been talking about those issues. We were just talking about those.
I need to move there.
The governor met with
And I need
local
to stop
AAPI
whooping ass. I mean, I'm
leaders
sorry.
who said the
I know
targeting
it's
of
like
their
a fuck ton of
community
martial artists
is
in that
not
area.
new.
Alright?
We have been
This is
experiencing
unacceptable.
for so long violence and crime and racial bias. This is not a new experience.
And they also talked about finding new ways to keep track of incidents that don't
That's
meet
the one that I watched the other
prosecutorial
day.
standards of a
I
hate
mean,
crime.
this is pissing me
So
off
part
on
of
an
what we want to
unacceptable
it's
level
important
of
not just to
anger.
address hate
I should not be
crimes,
this
but
angry,
we also
but when I
have
see
to
the people
track
that are doing it,
and address at a root level
it's really
hate
pissing me
incidents.
off.
And the fact that we have so many vulnerable members of our community that feel unsafe being in public spaces, that should be a concern to not just the Asian American community, but to everyone.
No
As for the
shit.
investigation
This is
into
uncalled
this
for.
incident, Daly City Police will simply tell us that this is an active assault and robbery investigation.
That's a
In
fucking
Daly
hate
City,
crime.
Wilson Walker, KPIX5.
I'm sorry. And I was hoping that I would never have to do these videos.
I shouted for help.
But you know, look at this guy, man.
Nobody helped me, so I put my hands on
His
my
face is messed up.
I saw the blood oozing.
Asian and Pacific Islander Americans are facing a surge of attacks in the U.S.
I'm
The
not gonna show
rise
this
in
whole thing.
violence has sparked
I
fear
don't know how
within the
long it is.
AAPI community.
It's like 10
We went to
minutes
New York
long.
City, where police data shows
But
there's
this
been
shit here,
1,900% increase in hate crimes against Asians.
last month.
Asian piece of shit.
I remember
Racism
that.
against Asian Americans isn't new. So what is causing the rise of attacks?
Do we know if all of these attacks are racially motivated?
We do
Oh,
not know that, but look,
some of them are
they
the majority.
are unprovoked.
Rallies have been held across the country to highlight the urgency of the issue. This is a story of how Asian Americans are finding solidarity in one another despite a wave of attacks.
It's fucking fucked up, man.
We will be invisible no more. We will speak up.
No,
And we say that we
you
are
will fight
American
back.
too.
Fuck that. It's time to fight back. I'm sorry. It
You're
is
looking at the
time
face
to
of a
fight
Filipino American
back.
man who was slashed while standing on a train to work.
That was Wednesday, February 3rd, and about 8 o'clock, I was at the L train. I stood there quietly. A man came, and stood beside me. He started kicking my bag. He came towards me. I thought he's going to punch me, but when I didn't feel anything, I saw his hand with a boxer cutter. I shouted for help, but nobody helped me.
Noel is still unsure what motivated the attack. The police have not called it a hate crime.
I don't know if it is because
Police are
men.
full of
I
shit.
don't know if it's because I'm Asian. I have no idea. So sorry. Well, but
I'm sorry, y'all.
but
Y'all have no idea how much this
if it's
fucking
just
pisses me off.
it's okay.
No,
I also live without
it is
me.
not okay. No.
Noel
No,
considers
fuck
himself
that.
lucky. He's mourning for the victims who have not survived, like this 84-year-old Thai man who died 2 days after an attack on his regular morning walk. Since the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020, more than 2,800 self-reported accounts of violent and non-violent anti-Asian hate were recorded by a rights group.
Now, I wasn't going to record
It's
this,
widely
watch this
believed
whole
the
thing, but
spike
we're going to
in
watch
racist
this,
attacks
because
is
this
due
shit
to
here
Donald Trump's
is
rhetoric
unacceptable,
on
it's
coronavirus.
uncalled for, and it's straight
But the
bullshit.
reality is more complicated than that. It's difficult to pinpoint one root cause for the surge in attacks.
No, it's
Some
not.
say a combination of the rhetoric blaming Asians, particularly during the pandemic, along with the ease of recording and sharing these attacks, has contributed to making the issue more visible. We spoke to Representative Judy Chu, who says racism against Asians in the U.S. goes far beyond Trump's presidency.
Yeah,
Of course,
dude,
we have
but
a
he
very long
accelerated
history in
it.
this country, going all the way back to the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882.
It was the first legislation to bar immigration of an ethnic group. Yet, Asian Americans have played an indispensable role in building the country.
The Chinese Americans were responsible for the Transcontinental Railroad from the West Coast to Utah. But now, we see that Asian Americans of all backgrounds are essential workers. They are the ones that are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response.
To combat the recent crimes, New York City created an Asian hate crime task force, but many say more
Still not
policing
enough.
is not the answer. This is how a younger generation of Asian Americans are responding to their elderly who are in fear. Dozens of Asian restaurants and volunteers come together every Wednesday to gather thousands of food packages.
It actually started because my girlfriend and I were experiencing racism firsthand. People saying very nasty, profane language, telling us to go back to where we're from. At the same time, we were hearing about food insecurity and our elderly also being violently attacked the same time last year.
Despite the stereotype that Asian Americans are flourishing economically, Asians are experiencing record unemployment and hunger. In New York City, almost 1 out of 4 Asians were unemployed in 2020, and businesses in Chinatown have been suffering.
So we decided to counter all of that negativity and hatred with love. And how do we express love in the Asian culture? Many times it's through food.
Mrs. and Mr. Lee say they only go out once a month because they're scared. To them, these bags mean much more than a hearty meal.
我们两个好孤独的，所以我的心里很不高兴。我一想到
No
他
one
们，
should
我
have
的
to
心
live
里
like
放下
this.
一点。
No one.
对他们志愿者要说什么，有什么心情吗？
他呢，每次来撞我的心里，辅导我有什么事情，
Like, people wonder why I believe in vigilantism.
什么我都跟他讲。
And I do.
So
I know
what can
not
the
to go too
government do
far,
to protect those like Mr. and Mrs. Lee?
but I believe in vigilantism.
President Biden signed a memorandum condemning anti-Asian hate, but Asian lawmakers say there is more to be done.
We immediately asked for a meeting with the Department of Justice. We want to talk to look for ways to better
I'm sorry.
prosecute such
Heavy
crime.
breathing.
In addition,
I got a little bit of tears
we are
in my
pushing
eyes.
No
I'm a little
Hate
angry.
Act. The No Hate Act improves the hate crime reporting in the country.
As of now, lawmakers
pisses
say
me
it's
off
rare
to
these
no
attacks
end.
are prosecuted as hate crimes, as it's difficult to prove racist intent. The suspect
No, it's
in
not.
Noel's case has been arrested and charged with assault. Yet Noel is moving onward, starting with acceptance.
Do you think you can forgive him for what he did?
Yes. Yeah, everybody deserves forgiveness.
No.
Whatever hardships or grievances
You
that
fucked
he
up
had
your
in the
face. I'm
past,
sorry.
he has
I
to
don't
forgo-
forgive this asshole. You can forgive
forgo
him.
it
I
and,
want to fuck up his
live
face.
a peaceful life, and he would be happy.
Yeah, I know I'm
What
wrong.
does the scar mean to you?
I don't give a fuck anymore
To me, it's
about being wrong.
maybe
And
it
sometimes
will
I
give you
gotta do the wrong
something,
thing to make
to
sure shit
strengthen
like
you,
this
that
never
you,
happens
that
again.
you live, that you go on living and not feel sorry about for yourself.
Some of the
No.
perpetrators and suspects in
sorry for
recent
this
attacks
motherfucker who
against
deserves
Asians
no
have
mercy.
been identified as black, which has sparked conversations about anti-blackness among Asian Americans. Tensions between the two marginalized communities date back decades. Conflicts peaked in 1992 when around 2,000 Korean-owned businesses were burned and looted in the aftermath of the police beating of Rodney King. Tensions between the groups had been festering after a Korean shop owner fatally shot a 15-year-old black girl in the same month.
What is contributing to this kind of tension is the false stereotype that Asian Americans are a model minority and that they're better off than others.
Yet leaders from the Black Lives Matter movement have been quick to decry the violence against Asian Americans.
We cannot give into hating each other. We cannot give into dividing each other. We need to be a unified front.
We have to rely on our neighbors and our friends to stand up for us when injustices are happening. As many Asians have come out to support, Black Lives Matter, that have historically fought together side by side for many of the civil rights that we enjoy.
Noel is joining the movement as well, sharing his story, hoping to prevent another tragedy.
Well, at least I know you'll be protected.
Knew that nobody would help me in this kind of instance. I hope that there should be an awareness.
Many Asian Americans say their trauma has been rendered invisible, their voices often unheard in the face of systemic racism. But times are changing.
我们够了. This means we've had enough. We are a force to be reckoned with, and that we care, and that this is a movement we are invested in sustaining.
This march is about unity. I want to bring awareness to the fact that we are here for the same fight. The fight to end systemic racism.
Asian Americans just tend to get erased as...
I want to thank y'all for watching. I'm a little upset now, but I wanted to make sure that you understand that this shit can't keep happening. It must stop, and we all must learn how to be together as humans, not just as race. Thank you for watching. Be seeing you.